exactly what you're thinking. I've had those thoughts a million times. I can see the question that's behind your eyes, or you're searching for your peace of mind. Now listen up to this truth. You are me and I am you. Every one of us is worthy. Baby, girl, worthy woman. Every one of us is worthy.
Good evening and welcome to this week's installment of Thursdays with Jamila on the one and only Blessed Beats Radio, your inspiration for hip hop. You guys, I'm so excited to be on tonight. Hey, Sissy Boo! I am excited about tonight's episode. I need you guys to do me a great favor. For those of you who are watching via Facebook, I need you to hit that share button. I need you to like and share. I want to have an interactive chit chat with you guys tonight on the web. And so in order for me to do that, I need for you guys to be tuned in. I hope everybody has had an amazing day today. I am so excited about the opportunity to be chatting with you guys tonight. There are some things that are on my heart to share. Before we get into that, how y'all doing? Y'all good? How's everybody doing? Houston don't know if we in winter.
We don't. We're
fall,
confused.
spring,
rain.
Yesterday was all
snowy,
nice outside. Say you walk out, you're like, whoa, winter's back. I don't know what's happening. So y'all pray I don't get sick, because this is the time in which I would typically catch a cold, because there's that. So how y'all doing? Y'all been all right? Shatera, how you doing, girl?
I'm good, girl.
Girl. Y'all know I do this with my bestie. Like, can we just clap it up for Shatera? Up for the bestie, because she comes to this every week with me. No matter how frantic I am, she's here, and I appreciate her. I would not be able to do this without her. So thank you, best friend.
You're welcome, girl.
Since we last talked, I had a birthday, y'all.
Yes,
Woo,
sorry.
I'm
I'm sorry. I'm looking at Stephanie where she says snowing in Vegas, which is absolutely ridiculous.
It's snowing in Vegas.
Yes.
Okay,
like
well,
5 inches of snow.
Isn't Vegas supposed to be your
right
desert capital, like all things hot and ready? I don't know.
Anymore. But back to your birthday.
Back to my birthday though, because it's a celebration.
It is a celebration.
It's a celebration.
The whole month.
I have officially hit the 34 mark. I'm excited about the things to come. I'm excited about the opportunities that seem to be knocking on my door at an accelerated rate. And I'm just going to give my little testimony, because, I love a testimony.
Yes.
But you guys, I really was in a place where I was a little confused about what was next for me, because I felt like the opportunities weren't coming, the invitations weren't coming, the knocks weren't happening. And then all of a sudden, it seemed like an influx of opportunities. And so that may not seem like a whole lot, but what I want to use it as is a tool to encourage you, no matter what the season is. If it is a dormant season, take that time to be sharpening your skills, making sure that you're ready, so when opportunity does knock, you're ready to go full throttle. Because when I tell you I was not prepared for the opportunities that have been coming, and at the pace that they've been coming, like I was like, wait, who me? Wait.
Yeah, girl.
So, whoa, there's that. But I'm
ready.
excited. I'm excited about all that's to come. And had I not, don't be talking about me still being young at 34 though, because I'm out here living my best life.
You living your best life at 34.
My best life at 34. Hallelujah.
Yes. You are a youngin' though.
Okay, whoa. Whoa, I am established as an individual. Thank you very much. Y'all know we clown. I like to have a very, very good time. I am watching your comments come through on Facebook, but I also want to jump into a couple of things. So, speaking of the opportunities that have come my way, I want to let you guys know what I will be doing over the next few months. April is a busy month for me. In April, I will be speaking at the Spring Into Your Freedom event, where their event host is Carmen. Carmen has been an amazing person. She continues to invite me back. I was fortunate to serve as their keynote speaker last year, and she invited me back 1 week after we presented. So I thought that was pretty amazing to have an invitation 12 months in advance. So I'm thankful for that. I have another opportunity that is on the horizon, and I will give you guys more information on that at our next show. So So it is also taking place in April. So if you can rock it out with me in April, please do.
Be there.
And then back to the birthday celebration. My husband, because he's dope, got me tickets to see Michelle Obama. I am so excited. Y'all, listen, I thought Michelle Obama was a no-go for me because I tried to join the whole little lottery thing.
And didn't get chosen.
They sent me an email said denied. And I was like, wait, no. I was like, Michelle. So when he pulled out his tickets and said, so for your birthday, this is what your gift is, I was like, yeah. I didn't want to cut up because we was at brunch. And I didn't want the people to kick me out for being the fool, but it was amazing. And I also spent my birthday weekend reading an entire book. I read a whole book from it was more like 2/3 of the book, but I read the book and I was so excited about it. It is called The Glass Kitchen by Linda Francis Lee. It was such a easy reading. It was a page turner, and I'm real big on just like not being able to put a book down. So most of my reading has been like about spiritual development and growth, and I needed an opportunity just to escape into another reality, and that was a good one to escape in. So that's a good one. I am also still reading Hello Tomorrow by Cindy Trim. So if you're following me on social media, you've probably seen a lot of quotes about vision and the importance of it, and that is where that is being inspired from. And then on another level, I know that I feel very deeply, like real deep down to my toes. And so sometimes I'm projecting emotions into a scenario and it's an error, right? Like I feel so passionately about something, or I feel so deeply about something, but the emotion that's being projected is not applicable to the current situation. So I'm reading a book about emotionally healthy spirituality, and woo, when I say it's an ouch, ouch upon ouch book, it makes us go back and look at some of what has been established as our norms, based on like historical data from family and relatives. And it makes us think about, did I always just kind of go along with what my family said was applicable without ever checking it to see if it was fitting for my life? And am I doing this in a way that is really, oh, husband, so, do you want to go? I don't know. Do you want to go see Michelle? See, my husband is on Facebook Live. He just got me all caught up, right? He told me I could take a friend. Now he said, is he going? So he is trying to get me all the way cut off. Is that what it is? Like, he did not put that disclaimer out there. See, y'all, this is what happens when your spouse gets you caught up.
And then he put a question mark with an exclamation point.
You know what I mean? Like, emphasis
on the question.
See how he tried to get me off track. I'm talking about being emotionally and spiritually healthy. You're not going to make me act out of character, Mr. Hingston, via the Facebook Live. Not going to do it. But I mean, babe, can we talk about it later? Because you just put me in a real uncomfortable situation. You said I could take a friend. I don't know what's happening right now. So there's that. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm reading. That's where you can find me. Brunch of Girls is yet alive and thriving. So these events that I just spoke about give us an opportunity to be introduced to different audiences. If you know anything about Brunch of Girls, you know that I am real big on community and bringing women together in unconventional spaces to have real life conversations with real solutions. We never just get together to talk for the sake of talking. We're talking to get to a solution and a resolve. So if you come to any of our events, please know by the conclusion of it, you will not have just been motivated and having all the warmth and fuzzies, but you will leave with strategy. So please make plans to attend. You can find more information about my upcoming events on www.brunchofgirls.org. Brunch is plural, so www.brunchofgirls.org to keep up on the latest happenings. I also have on one of my affirmation shirts today, and it's the I Am Chosen shirt, and it really speaks to what we're going to talk about tonight. So let's get into tonight's chat. Thank you, Shatera, for putting that website up for those to click on the link. So tonight, I want to talk about how you are assessing and valuing you. How are you doing that? And the quote that we're going to use to set the tone for tonight's topic is extracted from the last broadcast that we had. And it is, I said, you are not what you do, but you do what you do because you are you. Okay, so let me say that again. You are not what you do. You do what you do because you are you. And this is not a license to be arrogant, but it is a time for us to be self-aware. If you think about it, think of yourself as a garment. Okay? The garment will always be the garment. The garment is tailor-made. It was created from a visionary who had an end result in mind, right? And so they put that garment together, and the garment always is what it was created to be. The accessories added to that garment enhance it. Okay? So I would like for us to start thinking of ourselves as the garment that God tailor-made for such a time as this, and anything that we get in addition to that is befitting, okay? Because some accessories clash with the garment, but those accessories that are coming into your life that are fitting, those are the things that were just sent to enhance you, never to define you, okay? And so for your journal prompt, because you know I'm going to give you one, I want you to think about how you're determining your worth, and if this perspective, because it's framed around societal norms, are causing you to think less of yourself than you ought to. Are you thinking less of yourself because you are hinging your identity and your worth on societal norms and trends that change with the season? So you never feel secure in you. You never feel like you're a whole person because you're constantly trying to fit into something when you really should be pulling to you what was sent to complement you. Oh, that was good.
That was good, girl.
That was all Jesus, okay? Because that is not the note. But I really need us to think about that because I've just been really thinking about it a lot lately. And I think that we have become the accessories. And so we get pulled into things, and we are based in our worth on performance. We become a performance-based society. How well can I perform? What will my grade be if I do this?
Right.
And then you find yourself constantly feeling like you're competing against something that was never really meant for you. Or it's an outdated version of you. Because if I think about it, who I was 5 years ago, it's not that it was a bad person, but that person is not fit for 2019.
Right.
Shatera.
Right.
Question, answer, comment.
No, I agree. I agree. I think that a lot of times we become stagnant trying to fit in situations and scenarios that we've outgrown. Completely.
Right.
We've completely outgrown these things. And because that is what's comfortable,
Right.
and because we are naturally creatures of habit, we stay.
Yep.
And we try and force ourselves. It's like we're now rounded off and we're trying to force ourselves into this square box.
Yeah.
Which makes no sense, but yet we keep trying to do it.
Yeah.
So I agree.
Okay, so there's that. So whoop whoop, y'all. I'm doing my whole trying to do my video thing and all of that. So y'all bear with me, okay? So listen. So what I think we need to start doing going forward is really deciding: am I me, or am I who they need me to be? We have got to make a decision. Am I me? Or am I who they need me to be? And do I like that version of me? Do I like who I've become because I am functioning out of necessity?
Right.
Because I felt like there was a time in which I got really hung up on needing to... I'm going to be very transparent right here, right quick. I think I got so hung up on needing to be seen in a season of my life where I felt invisible, that I wasn't necessarily being true to my identity. I was being a half version of myself. And in becoming a half version of myself, I felt like I was at a constant state of feeling a void, because all of who I was wasn't being brought to the table. All of who I knew I could become wasn't really being brought to the table. It was the piece that was necessary for them.
Right.
Right. And so I began to confine myself to the boxes of the needs of other people to be seen, because for so long I felt like I was invisible, or I felt like who I was as a whole person would not be accepted. So I was willing to give pieces of me to be seen. And I think that's a truth for a lot of us. We give the pieces of us that will grant us visibility to the people that we feel will affirm us.
Right.
That we cease to be whole people.
Right.
And that's an accessory. I was an accessory. Ooh, I was a whole accessory.
Ooh.
Ooh. the truth. Lord Jesus.
She'll set you free is what it says.
It did, because I can't be an accessory hunty child. But I was an accessory to what other people needed me to be. I was willing to almost I was willing to downgrade. I was willing to downgrade. I was willing to become a lower class. You know what I mean? You know how they have cars and it's the C class or the whatever class. Like, I went down to the economy size.
Why do you think you did it?
I think I did it because when I think about it now and I think about the pieces of me that I gave, it was the accessorized version of me. Like, it wasn't really all of me. I stopped talking. I went inward. I didn't value the sound of my own voice. I felt like if I spoke up, it was going to deter people from me. People wouldn't accept me into their circles because my opinion was an opposing opinion. So to be seen, to have a seat at their table, I just gave them the accessory version of me.
You gave them what they wanted to see.
I gave them what they wanted to see.
Instead of the truth of who you are.
Yeah. I gave them the piece of me that would complement their garment.
I think a lot of, it's like you said, I think a lot of people do that. And I honestly feel like some of that comes with, you learn to get out of those things with experience. I think you learn to get out of those things with maturity. And I say all that because when you get to a point where you start really looking inward and looking at yourself when you start to look at yourself and see what other people see, that's a firm indicator. Either you're going to like it or you're going to hate it.
Yeah.
There is no in between. There's no, I kind of like who I am. No, you either like yourself or you don't.
Or you don't.
And if in the case where you don't like yourself, you don't like to see what other people are seeing in you, you are the accessory.
Ooh.
That's what that is.
True.
You are accessorizing their garments because what you're doing is you're making them look good.
Right.
But accessories can't stand on their own. I can't walk out of here with just a handbag.
Like, where's it going to be attached? What is it going to be attached to?
I mean, what I'm saying is, like, I can't just, that's the equivalent of someone walking out here in the nude with some fancy earrings.
Right, I agree.
The accessories aren't enough.
It's not enough.
You need some clothes, honey.
You need some clothes. You need a body. If you are a dress, you know what I mean? I get it. And I like that. I like that analogy. So let's talk about the next point that I wanted to bring up. So our focus scripture for tonight is Romans 12:3. I am reading the Amplified version, and it says, For by the grace of God given to me, I say to every one of you, not to think more highly of yourself than you ought to, but to think so as to have sound judgment, as God has appointed to each of us a degree of faith and a designed purpose. Okay, so when I think about that scripture, because I'm never going to give you a license to be arrogant, but I do want to give you a license to be true to you. Right. And so some of the things that I wrote when I read that scripture is, my quote was, know thyself. Mm-hmm. And with that, the scripture goes on to say that we are one body, but many members. Right. And so I have to know who I am to function at my full potential. Right. And so if I'm the hand, I'm a hand first. After I've affirmed that I'm a hand, you know I'm a hand. Then you can use me to pick up a cup, bring food to your mouth. Then you can use me to open doors. You can use me properly when I've been identified properly.
Right.
Right? Or if I'm the heart first. Once we've identified that I'm the heart, I am the thing that's keeping your circular system together.
You're going to work in your capacity.
I'm sending the oxygen to all forms of your body. I know who I am. So then I show up in the fullness of of who I am. And when I show up in the full person of who I am, I enhance my environment. I impact my environment. Right. I can't show up as a fraud hand and be trying to walk. Because what is that? So we walking on our hands now? That's what we doing now. You think you're a foot? Are you not a foot? Are you a hand?
Right.
Right? And so I think what's happened is we have stopped valuing the truth of who we are, and then we blame others for our disappointment. Well, you presented yourself as a foot, so when they put you on the ground and try to put a shoe on you, you can't get upset.
Right.
I mean, are you a foot or aren't you?
Right.
Okay, well, be you. Because I've said this before on other podcasts, the blessings assigned to you can't show up or reach the counterfeit version of you. They are only going to come to the person that they were assigned to. So if you're walking out here with this facade of a personality, your blessings are like, so when you show up, we will.
Right.
Your opportunities will show up when you will. Your engagements will show up when you will. Your promotion will show up when you will. Because if you are meant to be the CEO, but you won't believe enough in yourself to get out of the call center,
Ooh. Yes.
I mean,
that's good.
I mean, like I can't have a strategic conversation with you about how to build your brand if you still want to answer the phone and say, "Good morning, how are you doing? Thank you for calling." And that's all you believe. There's enough. That's all you believe you have the capacity to be.
Do, right.
It's about understanding your worth so that you can have an increased sense of awareness, so that you can build your capacity.
Right. So let me ask you this,
Yeah.
because I think this goes to the flip side of it is, how does one get to know themselves?
So
how do I get to know who I am?
I don't get to know. So the one thing that I think is a great exercise, and I think it's a hard exercise if I'm honest, I think you have to write down on a piece of paper, who am I? And then write out all that stuff. And then scratch out anything that's an activity.
That's a what?
Activity.
Oh, okay.
So I'm a runner. No, you're a person who runs. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm a writer. No, you are a person who encompasses and embodies the thought that then translates into a story that you can write. You know what I'm saying? And then there is some time where you have to spend some time in reflection and some time with God, because everybody has a path about who you can become.
Right.
But it said that God foreknew me before he formed me in my mother's womb.
Mm-hmm.
Every single day of my life was mapped out before a single one of them was lived. So I first and foremost need to spend some time with the Father who created me.
Mm-hmm.
Silence the noise about what everybody else said I could be. And ask him to download and give me vision for who I am. Like, I'm in a season where I've asked God to open my eyes, and I feel my eyes starting to water, but I do not want to mess up my lashes.
It's okay, girl.
But I have spent some time saying, give me vision. I've specifically said, give me eyes to see and ears to hear. Those of you who know my story, you will understand why that will make me cry. Because I said I need to see it, and then I need to be able to hear you affirm it, right? And so the vision is really the roadmap, because it tells me what's ahead, right? And so when I can see it in full color and I understand it, when he gives me instruction, I understand, because he's giving me vision.
Right.
He's visualized, he's given me the vision to see who he created me to be all along,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I think that in a culture where we are performance based, sometimes it's really hard to see who you are underneath all the fluff. Because we're way down with accessories, we're way down with expectations. And I work in HR, right?
Mm-hmm.
I give you a job description. I tell you exactly who you're going to be in this role.
Right.
And you subscribe to it when you sign it and say, I understand, right? So I've given you an identity. Is that who you really are? Maybe not. It may be what you do, but it's not who you are.
Right.
So one of the things that I do in coaching sessions is I talk to people about, what are you passionate about? What are the things that you naturally pull to? And then you start to unravel them just being a tactical person doing a thing, and you start giving them things that they find true fulfillment in, and you watch them blossom.
Right.
So if you are in an environment where all you're doing is what has to be done and you're not blossoming, you're not being you. Because you should flourish in anything that you put your hands on when it's tied to purpose. It should be better because you put your mark on it.
Right.
But if you just feel like all I can do is type these 70 words per minute, okay, typist, keep going.
Then that's what you're going to do.
That's what you're going to do.
Exactly.
And you're going to die full. Because all of the potential that you had, you suppressed.
Right.
Because you didn't have enough faith to believe. And so another part of that is faith to believe.
Right.
So once you get the vision, once you hear the instruction, you need faith to believe. And you need faith to transcend obstacles, because they are coming. If I am honest, standing here doing this was not an outright faith to believe moment for me. I started to count up the cost that wasn't really there. I said, oh Lord Jesus, I have to wear headphones. Y'all know we're hearing aids. How's that gonna work? Oh Lord, I trip over my words. Maybe that's not gonna sound well on radio. Oh, people aren't gonna follow me from Facebook to radio. I started putting up barriers and obstacles that were not there. I wear a necklace on my chain and it says go and the way will be made. Not the way will be made as you go. It said go. So I put a post up this week and I said, take the first step in faith and full confidence in God. And when you take the second step, realize that the hardest thing is behind you. So every hurdle to come before the first one has no bearing on it because you have the faith to believe. And I just believe down in the depths of me that when we lock into the potential that God has already established for us and we believe it and we'll have the faith enough to go with it, I think the possibilities at that point become endless.
Right.
Because now I'm no longer walking in my own strength. I've locked into his vision of me. So nothing that you can say is going to diminish it. You can try. But baby, he told me he would shut the mouth to my naysayers, honey.
Right.
He said he would make my enemies my footstool. He said that he would make my enemies be at peace with me. What? So I'm good. I'm just going to be me. Whatever or however that comes across. Because at least I can say I devoted my whole self as opposed to partial selves and half truths that I go home at night and resent.
Right.
Like, how resentful are you of the person that you presented today?
Ooh. And let me just say, all of that she just said was for somebody out there listening. Somebody out there, God has told you to go, and you are putting up barriers in front of where you are supposed to be going. You are stopping yourself, and you're blaming other things, scenarios, people. Oh, well, my kids, my child is doing this. I can't do that at work because that's not what they do. When all he said was go.
He said go. And the way will be
made.
I've not taken this charm off since it was given to me. It started out on my purse, and then I had to wear it close to my heart. And the reason why I had to wear it close to my heart is because I needed my heart to believe what my brain didn't yet understand. Because I told y'all, I'm a feeler. I gotta know it, I gotta feel it. And my brain was like, they don't really have a space for you at this table. So you probably should just not do that. Nobody is subscribing to what you're saying, so you should probably not do that. Like, transparent moment. I was like, look, I've been out here doing the Brunch of Girls thing for 5 years. January marks the 5th year of Brunch of Girls being in existence. It's the year of grace. 5 years. And I was like, I feel like people who are popping up out of nowhere are like miles ahead of me. And I'm like, I've invested 5 years in this. I didn't just start doing this.
Right.
Am I enhancing what I'm doing? Yes. But has the foundation been laid for 5 years? Yes. And I was like, what is happening? Like, God, you got me out here looking the whole fool because, like, everybody's not hitting the like button. Everybody's not hitting the share button. Like, my followers is under 1,000 on Instagram. You know what I mean? So it doesn't look like what I thought it would at the 5-year mark. But then if I take away the performance piece, if I take away the numerical piece, and I reflect on the testimonies that have come forth. See, I stop thinking about how other people are viewing me and am I marketable? And I think about the lives that have changed or for the better, and how people have come back and said, I needed to hear that just then.
Right.
Or when women who are significantly older than me say, we look up to you. That still takes me out. Like, that takes me out. Because I'm like, what? Like, women that I admire come back and say to me, we look up to you. I said, okay, well, we're doing all right. We're doing all right. We're doing what our purpose is. And so I'm going to stop right here and say to everybody who has supported, to everybody who has prayed, if you've ever bought a t-shirt, if you've ever shared a post, thank you. Because people don't have to believe in your dream.
Right.
And when they subscribe to your dream and then push it as if it were their own, you can't pay for that. I can't pay for support.
Right.
I can pay for a picture, but I can't pay for support. I can't change. I can't pay for transformation in somebody's life. So I will continue. And it's all about perspective. And for somebody who feels like you have done the work and you feel like you've been grinding in the shadows, I want you to know that you become the light. You are the light. And so you got to flip your own switch on at some point, because everybody's not going to do it for you. But if you recognize that you are the light sent to the dark places, you continue and you continue and you trust that everything that God said is for you will manifest at its appointed time. Like, it takes me back when it says God said for everything there is an appointed season. There is an appointed time for everything under the heavens. So just know when it's your time, there's nothing that can compromise that. I said it at the top of the show. I don't know how these opportunities decided that now is the time to call Jamila, inbox Jamila. I'm shocked, actually. And it's not because I don't believe in me, but when you go through a dormant season, sometimes trying to like get back in the swing of things and realize that somebody's been listening, there's that shock factor, right? That human factor. But what it does to me is remind me that I can do none of this without the help of God. I have to be in tune with what he's saying.
Right.
I'm launching some original things this year that I thought I was never going to be able to do. I just felt like those opportunities had long passed. And so I'm excited because people are like, it's your time for you to do this and we want to help you do it. Well, I appreciate it. And so the one thing that I want you to do is to dare to be what you see. Dare to be what you see. Cindy Trim said, vision will get you inspired, but discipline will take you to your destination. Vision will get you inspired, but discipline will get you to your destination. So once you dare to be what you see, you have to develop some discipline, because nothing great is happening because you stumbled upon it. So that dormant season, what did it teach me? I had to pray more. I had to read more. I had to open my eyes to the market, because here's the thing. I'm not out here to do it just to do it. I'm out here to create a completely different trail. I don't need to be a carbon copy of what already exists. They're doing that already. I'm just going to show up and do what I'm meant to do, right? So what's the dream? What's the Brunch of Girls vision? What's the Thursday with Jamila's vision? For people across the globe to hear something at the right moment in their life that speaks right to what they're going through, and they say, I can. This is exactly what I needed, and I know that I can. And I'm daring to see it. I'm daring to put the pen to the paper. I'm daring to jot the thoughts that are coming down. What is God about to unfold? I don't know fully, but I feel like it's going to blow my mind a little bit, because I said, give me eyes to see and ears to hear, and increase my capacity. Whatever he does after that, it's not my responsibility. I just have to do my part and show up.
Right.
Shadira. Vision will get you inspired. Discipline will take you to your destination. What's your discipline like?
You know, I will say 2019 I decided, not made a resolution, but I decided in 2019 that I was going to be more disciplined in a lot of areas of my life, because it's the things that I'm good at. Yeah. I don't have to be disciplined. Like, it's what I know. It's right. It's one of those things where you start into the motion, and it just is, because that's what you're good at. But the things that I am not good at, the things that I can be good at, I would be like, I'll do that later. I told you I'm the queen of procrastination. Like, I'll be like, I'm going to get to it later. This year is not my year. And Jesus may be like, yes, it is. But it's not my year, because I'm not disciplined enough to do it.
She just threw the whole year away.
Yes, I throw the whole year away. I'm not going to throw 6 months. That's crazy.
The whole 12.
Yep, we're going to start over in January.
Go big or go home, because I'm just not here for this.
But I will say that is true. Without You can have all the plans in the world, from the smallest, simplest thing to the most elaborate thing. If you have no discipline to see it through, the vision fails. The vision fails without discipline.
It's a wish.
And it's a wish.
It's a wish.
It's a wish that never happens.
Never happens.
I wish a lot of things, and a lot of things I would already have had I been disciplined enough to do it. And sometimes with being disciplined, we start off real good. We're like, man, I'm doing good with saving. I'm doing good with whatever. And then one thing happens, and our bounce back fails. We fail to bounce back. It's not about it's not if you will fail. Because there will be times in your life where you don't complete your vision, or you're not as disciplined, or you're not, you fall back a couple steps. That is fine. It's not in the falling. It's how you get up, or if you get up. And a lot of times I'll be like, oh, I failed. If at first you don't succeed,
dust yourself
stop.
Off and try again.
No.
If
at first you don't succeed, give up, child. It ain't for you.
Just threw those whole months
And
away.
I just throw them up. Like, okay, well, that must not have been for me. Let me move to something else. Instead of saying, if at first you don't succeed, it's fine. Get back up and try again tomorrow, because tomorrow's a fresh day.
It's a fresh day.
So,
and what did you learn in the pit?
Right.
Because if you have fallen, you stumbled over something that you did not foresee, something that you did not plan for. So now you have a bump to remember. This is a possibility. So where's the contingency plan for the failure that will come? Because failure is unavoidable.
Yeah.
Because in the areas that I believe that we fail in are the things that we lack awareness in, or we maybe have underdeveloped skills in. So it's not that you're not capable, you just may not have yet been qualified for that part of the journey. And this is why it's important to have people in your cabinet who understand it, because if everybody thinks like you, says yes like you, dress like you, eat like you, whatever, you have no diversity at your table, you have a bunch of echoes.
Yep.
You have no sound judgment. You have a bunch of echoes. And so all of y'all's appraisal value is depreciating day by day, day by day, day by day, because you're not enhancing one another. Right. You're just hanging with one another.
You're just letting each other be.
Hello. And
like
I don't have time
be you, girl. No. Stop
be
being you.
Stop
being you and be better.
Be better. Because tis the season for you to know who you are, and tis the season to be surrounded with people who see you. You beyond today. They see you 20 years from now. They see you 50 years from now. See, we're going from the performance-based mode of thinking, and we're going to the worthship. You are worth every single contribution, every down payment. You're worth every sacrifice, anything that it's going to take that is God ordained for you to fulfill your purpose. You are worth it. It is not a matter of when they qualify you. He who called you justified you, and he established you for such a time as this, long before anybody had an opinion. Right. So I need for you to look at your circle.
Please.
Has anybody in your circle
reevaluate?
Yeah. Has anybody in your circle had a promotion in the last year? Has anybody in your circle achieved a goal? Are y'all doing the same thing you were doing this time last year?
Right. Or the same conversations?
Is this the same conversation?
Are you having the same conversations? And I mean, that's the hardest part, especially for women, because we build friendships and we lock into these friendships, and there is nothing. You be like, you my girl, ride or die for life. Well, no, not always. You don't always need to be ride or die for life. Sometimes you need to be ride or die for this season, and then I'm gonna let you go so that I can continue living my best life, because I can't do that with you. Not that we're not gonna be friends, but maybe we're not as close as what we once were. And I think that's the hardest for us to do. It's hard to break those, clip the umbilical cord. It is hard for us. And so I think once we learn to do that and say, okay, God, this is my season, and I see where you're taking me, and accept the fact that everyone cannot go with you.
Hello.
Everyone won't be able to go, and it's okay, because you know what? There's somebody that's going to have a season that you're not able to go.
Hello. And let's not, okay, so tell me this. So when you go higher, they say that as you go higher, there's less oxygen at the top. Right? So that means there has to be less people in the cabinet.
Sucking up that oxygen.
Hello.
Yes.
We're not ready to die. So talk to me about when you have made a genuine assessment of you and what that letting go process looked like.
Honestly, it depends on the season for me, because sometimes I can be going into a season in my life that I know I can't take everyone with me, but I don't want to be alone. I don't want to be by myself. I don't want to be by myself. I don't want to walk through this season by myself because I'm going to be lonely. And so the fear of being alone is far more greater for me than letting the person go and reaching where it is I need to go. Because I don't want to be by myself. Like, who wants to be at the top alone? Like, I mean, who wants to have nobody to talk to? Who wants to have nobody to bounce ideas off? And then this is not every time, but there are some times where you need to be in that quiet place by yourself. And so that is what I am constantly learning. And so for me now, at this age, I have learned to say, you know what? It's okay to be by yourself right now, because it won't be forever.
It won't be forever.
Eventually, there will be somebody that God sends my way in due season.
In due season.
And then, I'll be fine. I'll be back on whatever track, wherever I'm supposed to be.
I like it.
So people are asking questions.
Okay, tell me a question so I can answer.
Well, one, I'm going to read a statement. Most people don't recognize they're in a season until it's past.
Ooh.
That is true. And then how do you realize the season? How do you realize the season in the moment?
Ooh, how do you realize the season in the moment?
That's
Is
a good
there
question.
a way to? So I think the only way, first and foremost, yes, I do feel like a lot of us have missed seasons and not realized it until the next one emerges. And I think the reason that happens is because we've gotten tunnel vision. We can't see the forest from the trees. And I think that when you forget to keep the big picture in mind, that's why vision is so important. When you can remember the big picture and keep it in mind as you're going through the necessary challenges or you're going through the necessary growth periods, you realize that I'm in the season. You start to stop thinking about what's happening to me and start to realize what's happening through you. And you start to gain a greater appreciation for the season, whatever it is, because you got to go through all of them to be a whole person. And then the other one, it said, what, I'm sorry?
How do you realize the season in the moment?
I've not fully mastered that.
For me, when I'm most uncomfortable and when I fight to not do something that I know I probably should be doing. Whenever I meet anything with resistance, I'm like, okay, wait a minute.
So you know,
wait
you're
a minute.
being pulled. So
I know I'm being stretched and I know I'm being pulled in a way, which means, okay, this is my season for stretching and making me uncomfortable. In that moment, I'm like, all right, God, this is something that I don't want to do, but you keep showing me the same thing. You keep saying, you keep sending the same word. You keep, people are doing the same thing. They're saying the same thing to me, but I'm being resistant.
I like
so
that.
This is a season that I need to pay attention to.
I need to hear it because, okay, so in a moment, okay, how do you recognize a season in a moment? I like what you said. I'm trying to figure out, have I done it, and I just can't recall it at this present time. Now, I will say that I know I got it. So how I've recognized seasons in moments is when I start to see fruit from things that I've prayed for coming through unconventional avenues. Like, I'm like, whoa, where did that come from? I know I prayed this. I know I don't know you.
Right.
So for you to say that to me in this place, prime example, got a prime example. I had just had a conversation with someone and they said, I don't want to ask you this super deep question, but I really want to hear your thoughts on this. I said, okay. They said, if you died now, do you feel like you will have been ready? And do you feel like you've done everything that you needed to do? And I said, I would be like, Jesus, hold on. wait a minute, because I got some stuff on the table that you promised me, and I've not seen those things come to pass. So I don't think that you would have given me those promises just for me to have a general sense of what could be. I think you gave those promises to me because you expected for them to manifest in my life, right? And I said, but there are times where I feel like, have I missed my moment to be effective? Like, has my season of being effective passed? I just said it, got out of the car, went into the airport. Kid you not, this happened in the last 2 weeks. Went into the airport, saw somebody that I recognized because I recognized her locks. I called her name. She turns around to me. She is like in pain, like crying. And I was like, what's going on? What's going on? She starts to explain what's going on to me. We are walking to the airport. I grab her hand. I said, what flight are you on? Hadn't seen this woman in 8 months. We just so happened to be on the exact same flight coming back to Houston. I grabbed her hand. I began to pray and walk with her to the terminal. And I said, what do we need to do to make sure we get you home and get you safe? And she immediately called somebody that we both knew and said, don't worry, Jamila's here. And the people then called me and said, that had to be, they said, this has to be a coincidence. I said, I don't believe in coincidences, but I do believe in God. And so where I had just said, did I miss my season to be effective? God met me with an opportunity for him to manifest that I have appointed you for this. And I've sent you to be a healing agent to people in the most unconventional places. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wow. And I sat on the plane with this lady and I talked with her. I calmed her down. We prayed. I said something to her specific to her situation, just having casual conversation. The flight attendant, not having the slightest idea what we just discussed, turned right back around and echoed what I had just told her. She looked at me. She was like, oh my God. She was like, I said, God will get your attention.
He will.
He will get your attention.
And through multiple people. If you feel like you've missed the season, listen. Sometimes all it takes is for you to stop and listen, because he always echoes where you're supposed to be, what you're supposed to be doing, who you're supposed to be influencing. He always does. He never leaves us out here just wandering aimlessly.
Right.
Ever.
But we have to yield ourselves to the signs. So
hope that answered your question.
I hope that answered your question, because we went in on that. But one thing that I want to talk about before we get out of here today, so I'm going to talk about something and I'm going to hit it and jump right off of it, okay? So here's the thing. Because if we go back to worthship, okay, and how we are determining worth and our value in a society that is driven by performance, likes, and subscriptions. Okay, what's the baby's name? What's his name? Give it to me.
Jesse Smollett. We're just gonna say Jesse.
Jesse, because
his last
Jesse
name
from
even
Empire,
matter.
because I can't pronounce his last name. Okay, so Jesse. Okay, so I'm gonna give my piece, which people can probably be like, whatever, Jamila. I'm giving my piece of this. So, sources say.
Let me brace myself. Hold on.
Brace yourself, girl.
Okay, go ahead.
Sources say that his role was being reduced. Okay, this is an identity that he has submerged himself in for however long he's been on the show, years, 5, whatever. So his role was being reduced. He's built platforms of advocacy and all of that based on the role that he's playing, which is also in some ways similar to his real life, right? And he's built all these platforms and he's doing all these things and the show is booming and blah, blah, blah. And then he finds out that his role is going to be reduced. And then you go out and you create this scandal of sorts.
Whole fabrication.
Scandal of sorts. The jury's still out on all of the clues. So I'm not going to say guilty or not guilty. I'm going to say it's an issue. You created a whole scandal. Now you out here looking like, what's going on with you? Here's the part that I want to talk about. I want to talk about the truth beneath the lie. And I know people probably like, girl, bye. He had us all out here cheering for you. We were rooting for you. Like, we had your back. And now you have us all looking foolish on your account. Okay.
In February.
In February, Black History Month. Can we please have our month? Sorry. But here's the thing. But he did it in January, so there's that. But here's my point. The truth beneath the lie. He, in my opinion, is a prime example of what we have been discussing today. You formed your entire identity on something that was temporal. And when it got ripped from under you, you had nothing to stand on. So now you are naked before people in the truth of who you are because you stopped developing. You stopped evolving. They said back in 2013 he got a DWI and said he was his brother. So he's always been operating to a certain extent in a falsehood. And so when you've never taken the time to develop you, and when what you've built your identity on no longer remains, and you don't know who you are, he still needed to be liked. And so I'm going to get notoriety from whatever light I can produce from the viewpoint that I see myself. He didn't see himself as better than that.
No.
You couldn't have. So you have shed light on you from the vantage point that you see yourself, which is so low. So nothing good can come of that because you don't even see yourself in right standing. You see yourself at this level. So you've projected the light on yourself at this level. And now the whole world is looking at you like, so this is what we're doing?
This is who you are.
This is who you are? But see, nobody knew that what he was because he presented something completely different.
But the thing is, he may not have been that person. See, he may not, at one point in time, he may not have been that person. And that's why I say sometimes you will go places, you will go so low that you don't even realize yourself. So he may not have been that person. Circumstances may have turned him to this person that he no longer wants to be. It doesn't necessarily have to be, it doesn't have to be something that you are, but whatever that's presented itself to you has made you react in this way. And so then people take that and say, oh, okay, well must be who you are. Because what you've shown us seems like a lie when this happens.
Right.
And so now we're like, oh, okay, well, so now, but that may not be the core of who he is.
It might not be the core of who he is, but okay. So you said circumstances may have made him become this person, and he didn't like the person that the circumstances made him become. So he was everybody's accessory. You're bad. You stopped being a garment.
True.
So now you're out here overly accessorized, and we're just trying to find something to pin you on. And because you felt like they didn't even tell the baby he was getting fired, his role was being reduced. So you still had a platform. So it speaks to you only view yourself as valuable when you're at this plateau. But when they take you down a few notches, you no longer view yourself as worthy. You no longer view yourself as, okay, well, there's a problem. That's an internal problem. And I didn't want to go because we're not going to go overly political with it. But I just want to say, like, you stop seeing you. And I just felt like that was a prime example of when you don't know your worth, you'll allow everybody to categorize you and to be seen. You will take on those identities because it's getting you some type of attention.
Well, it's getting you all types of attention.
All types of attention.
They say bad attention is just as
They said some attention is better than no attention.
Right. So he says, aren't we responsible for creating these personas through fandom and hero worship that these people fight to retain?
Who said that?
This is what Mark said.
Whoa, say it again. That was good.
So aren't we responsible for creating these personas through fandom and hero worship that these people fight to retain? Absolutely.
We are.
Absolutely. We look up to these people. We make them feel like we give them their self-worth, which is a scary place to be in, because it goes back to what you're saying. When we have to give you when we give you the value of what you are, when we create self-worth for you, and then it's stripped away, or you feel the sight of someone taking that away from you, you're lost and you're left feeling like you have nothing. And so then you become this person that you weren't normally, You weren't this person initially. But now you feel like your self-worth has been stripped because now we're looking at you real cross-eyed with our heads cocked to the side like, what is this?
What is this? But here's the thing. Let me go back to that. So we gave you worth that you deemed valuable. Right? And then it may not have been an accurate account of who you are, but we gave it to you. You took it on. Mm-hmm. You went full character.
Yeah, you did that.
And you don't know yourself outside of that anymore.
Nope.
So you it's like, okay, so now we're gonna bring you down a couple notches. Couldn't that have been an opportunity to look at you and still be effective? I'm just saying.
Maybe, but let me go one step further, because I like what you said. But do you realize Jesse is on a bigger platform? How many of us are doing this every day, wrapping our self-worth in our titles?
Hello.
I am this. I am this. This wife. I do this. I am like you. I am the wife. I can't stand when women say, you know, I am. People call them by their husband's names as if they have their
No
they don't
identity.
have their own identity. And so it's like, or you wrap your self-worth is wrapped up into being the awesome mom, or it's wrapped up into being the director in your company or the CEO of a company. How many of us do that on a daily basis?
Right.
And if you strip those things from us, we no longer know who we are.
Because
it happens all the time.
It
Let me just
happens all
tell
the
you,
time.
when women are going through divorces, I can't tell you how many times I've heard women say, I've lost who I am, because your self-worth was wrapped up in your circumstance.
Ooh. See, Shatera will wait until we have 4
Sorry.
minutes left in the
done.
show to go in. So we can't even touch on that. But I'm going to come back to it at the next show because I like where we're going with this. Don't lose you and them. Don't lose you and them. Okay, listen, y'all. We only have 3 minutes left. And it has been a fun chit chat. One of the things that I want to do, because, you know, I always leave you with the journal prompt. So if you joined in late and you did not hear it, remember the journal prompt. Okay, so it is going to be, how are you determining your worth in today's society? And has that perspective caused you to think less of yourself than you ought? How are you viewing yourself or determining your self-worth in today's society? And is that perspective causing you to think less of yourself than you ought? If you need a focused scripture to kind of put some context around that, go read Romans 12, verses 3 through 4. Some people may not be Bible readers. I'm good with that too. If you don't want to read Bible scriptures, just think about you. Because the scripture is telling you that we are one body but many members, and we are only effective when we operate in the truth of who we are to make the entire body function. So you can find that anywhere, but I like to base my truth on biblical references. But you can find that on Google if you so choose. But I want us to remember that, again, my upcoming events. You guys, I'm so excited. April is going to be incredibly busy for me. Again, I want to say thank you so much to Carmen. She invited me back to the Spring Into Your Freedom event that will be taking place April 5th through the 6th. I again have another engagement that is coming up in April. I will send more information regarding that. I have some original content that's going to be coming out in a creative form. I won't say too much. Just know that it is coming your way. Again, thank you all so very much for your continued support. If you would again like and share this post, if you are tuning in via Facebook, if you are listening on the radio, thank you so much. Continue to support us. We'll continue to do what we do for you, with you, because no, we're not determining our worth based on the likes. We are who we are, and we do what we do because of that, not the other way around. Thank you guys so very much. Have an amazing day.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
That's behind your eyes, or you're searching for your peace of mind. Now listen up to this truth. You are me and I am you. Every one of us is worthy. Baby, girl, worthy woman. Every one